Ah, Japan, I love you for your beautiful language, culture, and of course your video games. Despite never setting foot in Japan, I'm always fascinated with how you find new ways for me to be jealous of all the games we dirty Westerners don't get to play. From games that quite literally simulate what it's like to get in the robot, to crane games that give you quality prizes, instead of the quote-unquote prizes you find in your local Dave & Buster's. Yet, for all of these top-of-the-line games, I always find myself coming back to watch videos of this one quirky little arcade game, waiting for the day where I could finally go to Japan and sink a boatload of time and money mastering this game. I mean, how could I not? It's a rhythm game after all, why would I not do that? Luckily, I didn't have to spend over $1,000 on airfare. Instead, all I needed to do was travel for over an hour to a small local arcade, and man, once I started playing, I was like, holy frick, this is so fun, I have to talk about this. And now here I am with what is quite frankly one of the most fun rhythm games that I've ever had the chance to play. So sit back and relax as I welcome you to another episode of an overview and why you should play Maimai Edition. To those who don't know, Maimai is a rhythm game developed by Sega. First released in 2012, it was the first game under Sega's Performai series of rhythm games, and has gone on to spawn a whole host of sequels and a remake titled Maimai DX. As of this video, the latest release would be DX Splash Plus, which came out in Japan just this year. Lovingly referred to as the washing machine, its cute art style and great gameplay has built up a strong community not just in Japan, but in other places such as Singapore, Taiwan, and Australia. Looking at the cabinet, the machine consists of 8 buttons in a circular formation, along with a touchscreen, and the overall objective of the game is to pass a song with over an 80% accuracy rate. To that end, you must press these buttons as notes fly off from the middle of the screen and towards an outer ring that is divided into 8 different sections. These notes include standard tap notes in addition to hold notes and a slide note, though as of DX we're introduced to another note type called touch, where you, well, touch the note on the touchscreen. Anyways, now that we have the general gameplay down, you might be thinking to yourself, okay, that's cool and all, but why should I care? To that I say, does generic Hollywood rail shooter number 86 allow you to pick a Sugoi Kawaii cat girl before every game? Didn't think so. But if that's not enough to convince you because you hate all that's good in the world, the game's unique design and simplistic nature can very much appeal to someone who never really plays rhythm games. The game's intuitive UI makes it really easy for players to pick a song and jump straight into the game, where the same couldn't be said for some other rhythm games, 2DX. Though gameplay-wise, Maimai is full of casual-friendly features, such as the recommended song category, which picks songs based on the player's skill level, or the assist clap feature, which helps with figuring out note timing. In addition to these, the learning curve in general is just very forgiving, easing players into becoming pretty good at the game. This sort of being able to, in a sense, feel like you're actually improving makes it a truly rewarding experience in contrast to other rhythm games where it might take a bit more time and dedication before you feel any sort of accomplishment. Of course, if you want to make your gameplay a little more spicy, Maimai can actually become one of the more challenging rhythm games out there, requiring extreme precision in Master and the unlockable Remaster mode. However, part of the charm of this game is that despite how challenging Maimai can be at times, there is always room for people to express themselves through gameplay. Some may prefer to be the stoic, efficient player, while others might vibe to the music, being more fluid with their movements as if they were dancing, which makes it all the more impressive to watch when they end up hitting that full combo. Yet, it's not only the players who can express themselves, but also the chart designers themselves, as one of the most fascinating aspects of Maimai is the amount of thought and attention to detail in some of their charts. Take the chart USA for example, where one section of the chart actually resembles the choreography of the dance, or King, where when the chorus ends with the line "You are king," the sliders make a cool little K-shape. It's small little details like these that make you go like, oh yo, I see what you did there! Now of course I can't just talk about a rhythm game without mentioning its soundtrack. Maimai's got a great selection of original songs, with my personal favorites being Oshama Scramble and Crazy Circle, although if you're in the mood for something more familiar, there are Vocaloid and Toho tracks if that suits your fancy. In addition to that, there are also a ton of licensed songs from artists such as Kenshi Yonezu and Eve. So with that in mind, Sega, can we please get a Kakeikitan Maimai chart? To top it all off, if you have friends, well, you're in luck, because Maimai supports multiplayer for up to 4 people, allowing you to compete against each other. Or if you're crazy enough, you can try to play 2 machines simultaneously. That works too. In any case, if you're looking forward to playing Maimai, you'll find a lot of these machines in Asian countries and Australia, so if you're ever traveling abroad to any of these places, do be on the lookout for them. However, as Round 1 begins to open up more locations across the US, you'll be able to find Maimai machines in these newer locations. In addition to that, you can also check out the site Xenius iVanisher to see if your local arcade has one. Moreover, you might be able to find them in the game room of some anime conventions such as Crunchyroll Expo. Though generally, they'll only have Maimai Finale instead of the newest machines because Japan just doesn't like importing games to us for some reason, and American arcades being, well, American arcades. But I digress, as when you actually play, I highly recommend bringing a set of gloves in order to reduce friction when performing sliding motions with your hands and just overall have a better time when attempting harder charts. Feel free to use any cotton glove you have lying around or just buy a cheap pair at your local Daiso. You should also probably bring headphones with a 3.5mm headphone jack, as newer models will have a built-in audio port. This is to help you get in the rhythm of the song as well as block out all that unnecessary arcade noise. If you're planning to play for the long term, consider buying Sega's iMe card, as it allows you to have the ability to create a profile and save your scores, as well as access to more songs, events, and collaborations, along with your first game being free. But if you happen to have Konami's eAmusement Pass or Bandai's Bana Passport card, you can feel free to use them as a substitute. Just make sure that they have the Amusement IC logo shown on screen, though if you're still confused, just consult with your local Round 1 and they'll be able to get you the card. With that said, whether or not you're just a casual looking for a new game to play while posting pictures of the musical washing machine, or someone who's fully committed to the path of degeneracy, Maimai is just a really fun and unique experience no matter who you are. From the game's simple mechanics to the physically intense gameplay, I can guarantee that you'll be having quite a bit of fun as you vibe to the weeb-centric soundtrack. Aside from that, the game's design also gives a considerable amount of freedom to add a little flair to your gameplay. Not to mention the fact that the whole multiplayer aspect is a really nice touch, as you can enjoy this experience with friends or even with fellow players. Also, to be honest, the control scheme makes for some pretty good ASMR. Though in all seriousness, go play Maimai whenever you get the chance to, as who knows, maybe that heightened interest can spell the release of more Maimai in this state. And since you're here, feel free to join the r/Maimai subreddit, where you can find a wonderful community of players from all over the world. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.